think we'd all agree this is probably the safest parking lot that we've got in Charlotte this morning. Look at this impressive turnout that we have behind me from a public safety perspective. And, you know, I really think that that's what this is all about today. Traditionally, for those of you who've covered Halloween in Charlotte, it's been kind of a hit and miss kind of thing. You're at the sheriff's office for one event, you're at the police department for another, medics on the back end doing what it is that they do. And, you know, what we probably don't illustrate enough is the work that we all do together from a public safety standpoint, and that's why we thought it was more than appropriate to bring all of this work, all of this exposure from a public safety perspective in one place today to show just what a unified effort that really looks like. Just a couple of seconds, I want to introduce Sheriff Erwin Carmichael. He's with the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, and traditionally they've had their sex offender verification operation on Halloween. Some tremendous work that he, along with his people, do to keep our young people safe in the community. There'll be some media avail on the back end of that we'll talk a little bit about as things develop this morning. But without further delay, I'd like to introduce Sheriff Carmichael.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. Good morning. I want to thank everyone for coming out this morning. As you know, throughout the year, there's a lot of efforts, and our efforts and responsibilities to verify registered sex offenders here in Mecklenburg County. We have a unit that is committed to doing this on a daily basis. But around this time, Halloween, each year, we add more resources and we take more time to verify these registered sex offenders. Now, we've been doing this since 2005, and why do we do this? It's because we want to give parents a peace of mind tonight before they take their kids out trick-or-treating. Now, by law, we verify the addresses of registered sex offenders in this county 2 times a year. We're required by law 2 times a year, but we go over and beyond that. We do this 4 times a year, randomly throughout the year. Now, to date, there are 1,075 registered sex offenders here in Mecklenburg County. And on October 15th, we began our Halloween operation. And we have deputies from all of our field units that are going door to door verifying these addresses. Now, this year, typically, we always do this for a week during Halloween. But this year, we're expanding our operation. We are doing it for 3 weeks, and in hopes that we're able to increase our number of verifications. In some cases, people are simply, they're not available, they're not at home, they're traveling, they're at work, etc. Now, out of 1,075 registered sex offenders here in Mecklenburg County, we're going to verify 908. Now, you ask why 908? There are 167 registered sex offenders that are already in the Department of Corrections custody, federal custody, or in local jails. So that's why we're verifying the 908. Now, since the start of this operation, we've been able to verify 744 registered sex offenders as of last night. There are also 19 violations. Now, these 19 violations could be simply someone not living at the address that they have on the registry and not updating their address. The goal is to make sure they live where they say they live. Now, what the process looks like is we physically go out, knock on the doors, and physically talk to these individuals. And we want to establish that this individual actually resides at their registered address. Now, today, you're going to have an opportunity to go out, ride with our deputies, follow our deputies, to see them going door to door, verifying these addresses. Now, with that, at the end of the conclusion of this conference, please get with us and we will set that up. But with that being said, I want to say thank you to the United States Marshal Service, the Department of Public Safety, and our local police departments in Mecklenburg County for their assistance and cooperation throughout the year. I want to thank Charlotte-Mecklenburg, Cornelius, Huntersville, Matthews, Mint Hill, Pineville, and Davidson Police Departments. Without your help and support, this would be impossible. So thank you again for all your help, your support throughout the year. Now, I urge everyone to download the Sex Offender Registry app. And you want to utilize technology. You're going out tonight. You're going out to your neighborhoods. Okay, go ahead and pre-plan. You're able to look and see where these sex offenders are in your neighborhood. So utilize this technology to pre-plan your route tonight. Now, to go to this, if you go to download this app, go to mexsheriff.com, click on the Services tab, and then click on Sex Offender. Now, if any of you have information of a sex offender's whereabouts and their address does not match the registry, if you will contact the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office at 704-336-8730. Again, 704-336-8730. Again, I want any of the media who would like to ride with us, if you will, again, see us at the conclusion. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you, Rob.
Sheriff, can you stand by 1 second?
Yes.
You know, the sheriff was awfully quick to pass along some important thank yous to those assisting with this operation and assist with him and the community throughout the year. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say thank you. This could probably be the last major event that you're going to see Sheriff Erwin Carmichael at. In December, there'll be a new sheriff. There'll be a new sheriff in town. In December, mid or early December 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. I think we'd be remiss, any of us, if we in public safety didn't say thank you, Sheriff. Thank you for your leadership during your administration. You've just done a tremendous job keeping our community a safe one, and I don't think that should be lost on any of us here this morning at this event. I wanted to thank you, sir, personally.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. So usually, it's some kind of CMPD show, on a Wednesday, which is fine. Home cooking. That's where I cut my teeth with the city, with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, and had the privilege of just witnessing some tremendous work there at CMPD. Obviously, they've got a role in the equation when it comes to safety tonight, keeping our young people safe, keeping our young community safe as a whole. And I want to bring in Officer Craig Allen, who we've been down this road before. Craig, we haven't used you in quite a while. We're getting the band back together. Craig is going to talk a little bit about how the police department fits into this equation and how people can keep themselves safe tonight. Craig Allen.
Thank you, Rob. Hey, and it's been a while since I've been up here, so it's an old hat, though. With the police department tonight, we like to urge several different groups of people to exercise extra caution. One group of people is those who are driving home tonight. You're going to encounter a lot of pedestrians, especially on the side streets, neighborhood streets. So make sure you're watching out for them, because a lot of those pedestrians are going to be young kids. And hopefully they'll have adult supervision with them, but we know how easy it is for kids to get away from adults sometimes when they're very excited. So again, as you're driving home tonight, just exercise extra caution and be cognizant of all the young people that will be out trick-or-treating. Another group of people are the parents. Make sure that you are supervising your children tonight. Go out in groups. Don't let your kids go out by themselves. We know it's always safety in numbers, so just remember that. Go out with groups. If you're having neighborhood get-togethers, that is an awesome thing. It minimizes the kids going up to individual houses. They can hit little groups along the street. We encourage that. And as always, we will have extra patrols out tonight, watching out for the drivers and any other type people that are looking to do some bad things out there. So if you got any questions afterwards, I'll be available, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll make Craig available and everyone that is taking to the lecture and available when we conclude. Being in this new role now, I have the opportunity to see some more amazing work on the fire side, and there's a lot of impressive work to talk about. And one of the people probably best suited to talk about that excellent work is a woman named Amy Ray, like Ray Road, in case anyone was wondering, right? Educator with Charlotte Fire Department, and she's got some insight that she wants to put out this morning to talk about safety and how fire fits into that equation. Amy Ray.
Good morning. Unfortunately, this is actually one of our busiest nights with the fire department, not only due to fires, but due to medical injuries that occur as well, because our firefighters are first responders. If you're not aware, tonight is the night that twice as many children are injured or killed than any other night of the year. 70% of those injuries occur at crosswalks or intersections. So we cannot emphasize enough how much children need to be observed, watched, keep an eye on them. Make sure that they're wearing the appropriate costumes where they're not wearing a face mask, but they are maybe wearing makeup so that can be their costume. Anything with long skirts need to be very careful around open flames. That's one of our biggest concerns as well, is that the open flames that folks used to use, not so much anymore, in jack-o'-lanterns and other areas, we do have a problem with that, with jack-o'-lanterns having live flames in them or other types of decorations around your home that can cause a fire. So we want the children to be safe, where they can be seen, have them carry a flashlight, have them wear glow sticks as a part of their costume, never carry an open flame, and as well as around your home, never have an open flame around the front door, around the decorations, or anywhere else. And while we're speaking of your home, make sure that you have a working smoke alarm. Every time of the year, we want you to have a working smoke alarm, but you may as well test it tonight. Make sure that it's working tonight. So getting ready for the season, when it starts to get colder, make sure that your smoke alarm is working and that you have a home escape plan. Battery operated candles are great for using in your jack-o'-lanterns. They're also great for the kids to carry. So anything that they can use so that they can see better, as well as the children need to stay on the sidewalks. And again, make sure that the children are being observed and that we don't have to come out as first responders to someone who's hurt or injured when it can easily be prevented. Thank you.
Amy Ray, ladies and gentlemen. Fire educator, Charlotte Fire Department. Appreciate it. There's a guy, we talk about everyone working hand in glove in public safety. I can't think of a better way to round this off than to have someone from Mecklenburg EMS come up and talk about their role in this whole endeavor. There's a guy I'm going to introduce, Don Shu. He's an operation supervisor with Medic. Been around the block a little bit, I guess, 29 years? 29 years. Knows a little something about public safety, no doubt, Don, and wants to get a couple of things across, talking about safety tonight and what his folks out there in the community are going to see. Don Shu with Mecklenburg EMS.
Thank you, Rob. You bet. As I said, I'm going to give you all just a little bit of insight on what Medic is looking at for tonight. But these are common sense things for every night, but we are especially looking at these on Halloween. Tonight will be still very much business as usual for us. We'll have the appropriate level of staffing to handle any kind of calls that we get. We will ask everyone to be aware of their surroundings, especially when they're out walking around. Be aware if you do have to call 911 so you're able to give the proper information to our dispatchers. But also be on the lookout for emergency responders. Be sure to give them the right of way that they need to get into these situations. Be aware of what your kids are eating. Make sure that what they're eating is age appropriate to not have any choking hazards, but also any children that have allergies. Make sure that what they're consuming is not going to trigger an allergy. One of the things that we think about the most is, because there are so many kids out walking around, we want to make sure that they're safe around vehicles. Pedestrian struck calls are one of the calls that we most do not like to get. So especially on Halloween night, we're going to have children out there. They're going to be in dark costumes. They're going to have on masks. So we want to make sure that, if possible, they have some type of reflective tape they can put around their wrist, around their waist, something like that. Carry flashlights, maybe have glow sticks, something that's going to be able to identify them if they're in a dark section where there's no street light and car lights can hit this and they'll be able to see them. If they're able to, make sure you use sidewalks. If not, make sure you're walking on the far left facing traffic. If possible, make sure children are using appropriate crosswalks, places to get across. If not, be extra vigilant to make sure that it's clear before they cross the street. Watch out for cars that are doing things they may not expect, backing out of driveways or making a turn. Children are excited and they're running towards these houses and they may not think, well, this car may be backing out of the driveway. And I believe one of the other agencies was also mentioning, if you are driving tonight, especially when you get into the neighborhoods, slow down that extra little bit. Make sure that you're looking out for these children so that we do not have any incidents of pedestrians being struck. Another big thing, put down your devices, the cell phones, the iPads. I know everybody wants to get pictures and video of their children, but when they're out in the street area, we need to make sure that the devices are down so that proper attention is paid to these children. The last thing I'd like to point out, care begins from the minute our 911 telecommunicator picks up. They are trained to give instructions so that if there is an emergency, whether it's a medical emergency or a trauma emergency, they can begin immediately giving instructions to the caller that may save that person's life until the trained responders get there. Thank you, Rob.
Another 29 years in you? He's at the turn, right? He's halfway there. We appreciate it. Any questions for anybody that we just had from public safety that anyone has? We'll make everyone available now. We'll go ahead and square that up. Where do you want to leave that off? Is that you, Alex, that I see moving over there? Questions? Yeah, I got you, babe. Yep. Anybody? Okay, so just to dovetail off what Sheriff Carmichael was saying, anyone interested in tagging along and betting themselves with anyone from that operation is going to be out there on that sex offender verification operation. See us offline afterwards. I know Angie's here, right there in the back, and we'll be able to facilitate that and get you squared up. Any other questions for the greater good before we part company on this gorgeous, gorgeous Wednesday morning? Anybody? Going once, going twice. All right, we appreciate the turnout.